Mundus, the world of cockroaches. Let's say that in the near future, humans have a nuclear war that is devastating the area and the entire planet. This war can break out for centuries or even longer, and it was devastating, killing many species and the majority of the human population. You might wonder, what would be the main survivor of this? Well, it might surprise some people, but most people it probably won't. That more than likely animal to survive a nuclear war, or any war of that matter, is the cockroach. I mean, these creatures can literally eat glue and cardboard if they cannot find food and be okay afterwards. And they have survived multiple mass extinctions, main ones being the Great Dying or the KPG extinction event, which were very, very deadly extinction events. So, let's say, in a hypothetical sense, there is a future Earth that has one of these nuclear wars. Let's say it's World War IV. And this war, or maybe just a nuclear war, doesn't have to be a World War IV, but it is devastating, and it is going on for many, many years, devastating the planet and many of its species. It would be a destructed wasteland in many parts of the world. Broken cities and grass growing on the streets. It would be terrible. Not really habitable for many large life, but for cockroaches, it would be okay. And then there is this. The Yatarans are a species of alien that have been observing Earth from very far away. But once they finally reach Earth, they'll learn that it is in war. This devastating war means that most species are extinct. But they decide to do something. They find adaptable species, such as the cockroach. They decide to make a seed world out of it, a terraforming project, on a planet called Blatamundi. The cockroaches were the main focus of these creatures, but they also decided to do some more organisms besides cockroaches. So the common cockroach will be added, earthworms, ammonite shrimp, sea sponges, and many types of corals are the main animals on the planet, as well as many microbes and stuff like that. Then there will be things such as grasses, mosses, ferns, and algae, as well as seagrass. These are going to be some of the main organisms on the planet. This is the star where all of the planets orbit, known as Osiris. Osiris is a G-type star similar to our sun. It is pretty bright and is basically similar to that of our sun. Not really any other changes to it that have been made, so it's basically the same thing as our sun. So, Osiris, there's not much to talk about it, but it is the star. Then there is this planet right here. This planet has an oblong shape to it, and it is known as Dartwit. Dartwit is a very close planet. It is the first planet, and it has an oblong shape because of the gravitational pull from Osiris. And most of it even has a lava-like ocean on it. It does not have an atmosphere or any water, so this planet is not good for life. It is also tidally locked. Not nice. Then there is Blatamundi. It is the second planet, however, it is far out in the habitable zone, around a little further out towards Earth, so it's more temperate, developing ice caps. It has a moon known as Nux, which orbits it. Nux resembles an acorn, sort of, and does not retain a smooth shape. We will talk more about Blatamundi, but all you know is that it's going to be the main planet we're going to be focusing on in these projects. Then there is this planet, known as Ares. Ares is a large gas giant, the third planet. It has 3 moons, known as Juno, Janus, and Erychnicias. Erychnicias is another seed world, the seed world of hedgehogs. If somebody wants that, y'all can have it, but we won't be talking about it much in these series, Then there is the last planet. This planet is known as Seth. Seth is around the size of Mars, and one of its moons has broken off into a beautiful set of rings, so it does not have any more moons. It has large ice caps and large canyons and craters around it. It does have an atmosphere, but very little oxygen. And those are basically it for all the planets in the solar system. So back to Blatamundi. Blatamundi is, of course, very habitable. It's going to be the seed world for the cockroaches and other organisms. So, let's take a look at its continents. There is Smog and Chimerius. These are the main continents, as well as island chains around it, and the North and South Pole, and the oceans and seas. Now, one thing that's very interesting is while Smog and all of the other islands have cockroaches on it, Chimerius does not. It only has worms. So they'll take different evolutionary routes on it. The biomes are fields, sort of temperate plains, deserts, mountains, freshwater bodies like lakes, rivers, ponds, and creeks, Arctic, and the oceans. We will be covering these biomes in episodes to come. Now, these creatures will settle and, spread the cockroaches out throughout the planet. They thought it was nice, so they left it there. However, they did send satellites to watch it for many, many years to come. Most of these satellites will crash, but they're just to help kickstart the planet and document how the roaches will take over. So, the roaches, of course, diversified exponentially on the islands, and Smog, breeding rapidly, feeding on plants and even dead worms, or live worms. The shrimp took to the seas, eating algae, as well as the coral and sponges, while the worms on Chimerius took to become the dominant land animal on there. Let's go ahead and talk about some first descendants, shall we? This is the green roach. The green roach is a humble herbivore, unlike many roaches. It has developed a green body with brown patterns. The brown mimics dead parts of the grass, or ferns, or even dirt, while the green part mimics plants. There are no predators as of yet, but this is just to be sure. These creatures tend to like eating grass, ferns. That's pretty much it. They don't like eating moss. These creatures are not very big, around the size of a normal roach, but they probably will get bigger. Who knows? And, you can find these roaches very commonly in grasses or underneath rocks, since this planet is abundant with its said roaches. Now, moving on to Chimerius. That's right, Smog had the first roach evolution, but only one, which was kind of strange. But Chimerius, of course, doesn't have roaches. It has worms. So let's take a look at that, what they have evolved into. First is this. This is the caterpillar-like worm, or wormamiller. A wormamiller. It's developed long, thick skin and around 8 suction cup feet on each of the sides. This makes them resemble caterpillars, and they are also a land-dwelling worm. They love to feed on moss, and that's primarily their main diet, feeding on moss. Which, is good for these worms. I'm glad that they have established that moss is nice. They've developed a large, actually visible mouth. So these creatures are more like caterpillars. except they would never metamorphosize into large flying insects, as only some types of roaches are equipped with flying. But deep underneath the ground, the first predators have emerged. This is the tusked worm. The tusked worm has developed sharp chitinous appendages around the base of its face, kind of like a tusk. They stab into prey and hold them in place, and once they have repeatedly stabbed into them, they will then eat them with their mouth. They mainly eat other worms and worm annoyers, and even their own kind, which makes them terrifying predators. And so, if you're a worm pillar, you need to watch out when going near deeper parts of the dirt, because you probably get eaten by one of these. So, many worms will have to watch out. So far, no roaches have developed predation, but worms have, which is something you need to watch out for. Now traveling to the ocean, the last biome we'll be talking about today, which is gonna have one evolutionary line. This is the blue algae shrimp. The blue algae shrimp has developed algae-like coloring patterns around its body, as well as blue to blend in with ocean. Now, ammonite shrimp, as I call them, do not primarily live in salt water. They go to fresh water to stay, but they go to salt water to lay their eggs. So a branch of the larvae started to adapt to live in the salt water forever, slowly becoming adults and became salt water-bearing shrimp. These creatures, similar to schools of fish, swim in great schools to find patches of algae inside the ocean and eat them with their long claws. Nothing much is to say about them except they're fairly large and, well, like to feed on algae and other things of the sorts. And that's pretty much it for this episode. In the next episode, we'll be talking about the Great Diversification Event on Blatamundus, the world of cockroaches. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and then my voice sounds a little different. That's because it's been acting up a lot today, so let's hope it gets better, alright? Have a good day, and bye-bye.